73-year-old long dithering has ended. Finally, viewers, it has ended. Why? Because the Modi government has decided, in a major diplomatic move, has decided to send a clear signal message to the international community. The center today let it be known that all weather bulletins in the country that will be aired on the public broadcaster and private broadcasters will now also relay the weather conditions in Mirpur, Muzaffarabad, Gilgit and Baltistan, which were illegally occupied by Pakistan in October 1947, viewers. The move ends 73 years of dithering. 73 years of dithering on the part of the Indian establishment has ended, and the signal is going out straight that this government is not going to give up any claim on Indian land being occupied by Pakistan and China. This is very, very important, viewers, and this is a major reset diplomatically of the manner in which we are looking at the way we are going to proceed on POK. But this isn't the first time under this government that India has made its intent clear. This is an amplification. This is a decision to put it down now in the face of Pakistan. Earlier, we've had both the Home Minister Amit Shah and the Foreign Affairs Minister Mr. Jaishankar. Listen to them.
जब मैं जम्मू और कश्मीरी बोलता हूं तो पीओके इसके अंदर ही आता है, इसलिए एग्रेसिव हूं कि जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के पीओके को आप भारत का हिस्सा नहीं मानते हो क्या? एग्रेसिव ना हो, जान दे देंगे इसके लिए.
Our position on POK has always been and will always be very clear. POK is part of India, and we expect one day that it will we will have the jurisdiction, physical jurisdiction over it.
जैसे कि सर्व समिति से सदन ने भी माना हुआ है, वो इतना ही है कि किस प्रकार पाक अधिकृत जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान के गैर कानूनी कब्जे से मुक्त करा करके पुनः भारत को.
This government is deciding to walk the talk, viewers, in the most in-your-face manner. Now, there is a very, very clear reason why India needs to reclaim POK. Yes, holiest Hindu sites are being desecrated wantonly. Satellite imagery of revered Sharda Peeth in POK, that's what they've turned it into. Pak army vandalizes the temple, occupies a part of it. Gun positions have been put to desecrate the sanctity of this ancient temple. I want to tell you more about arrested for protests. Here are individuals, Kashmiris, arrested for protesting during Imran Khan's visit. These protests were against the brutality and the genocide that is being carried out by the Pak army, blessed by its establishment in POK. Also, POK Hindus are systematically persecuted. They are fleeing Pakistan. Minor Hindu girls are being abducted, forcibly converted. Untold miseries are being inflicted. And today we have decided to send a signal that enough is enough. We are moving now symbolically and later substantively to take back what is ours. Lashkar terror camp in POK, training new recruits. It's the hotbed of ISI activities. This must be reappropriated by India once again. Why is it taken so many years to establish one's claim in this forthright manner? That's the central question. Why did previous governments treat Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as some foreign land? That's another big question. Why didn't they ever, in a matter-of-fact manner, lay claim to it? That's another question. Let's throw this open. Let's ask some of those questions. Sushant Sareen, I just want to ask you, symbolically, and symbolism is very important in diplomacy. Symbolically, what message does this send out?
So I think it sends out a very important message that, the gloves are coming off. that the kind of wishy-washy kind of an attitude that India had for past so many years, while I don't think we ever agreed that or ever let go of our claims on the Gilgit-Baltistan part of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, but we never really used to insist on it. We never really asserted ourselves on it. And, routinely we used to issue a banal statement that, it's an integral part of India and all of that. But in all our negotiations, it was always assumed that, in a sense that this was already a done deal, which is why when you had Musharraf propose his 4-part formula and, divide the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir into 7 regions, it was, he kind of assumed that Gilgit-Baltistan and the Mirpur-Muzaffarabad belt was already part of Pakistan, so there was nothing to talk about as far as that region is concerned. And the only thing which would come up for talking would be the 5 regions which fell into India. Now, clearly that policy has been completely thrown in the rubbish bin. It's been upended completely, and that, I think, is a very salutary message. So you are right that for now this is purely a symbolic move, but I think this symbolism is important provided we do not leave it only to just the IMD statement, but take it forward to a range of other things in which we continue to insist. And I think one of the better things that this government has done is on the CPEC region, one of the fundamental reasons for objecting to CPEC has been that it passes through Indian territory. And I think the reassertion of that point over and over again is something which we should now take forward in a range of other areas. Wherever the Kashmir question comes in, we should not let any statement coming out of Pakistan go unanswered. We have to join this battle of minds. We have to join this battle of ideas in a way that we push forward our narrative and we make it very clear that as far as we are concerned, the entire undivided state of Jammu and Kashmir as it existed in 1947 is an integral part of India, that there is no compromise on that position, and that is going to be our position from here on. So while the previous government, in a sense, formally always adhered to that position, they never really made a push for it. I think what has happened now is we are making a push on reasserting that particular position in every way possible.
Ajay Shukla, what prevented other governments before the Modi regime to make a direct push to reiterate our claim over POK? Dr. Manmohan Singh and Musharraf were in protracted discussions to come up with a formula which would have involved in us giving up our claim on this very vital and strategically important piece of Indian land. Why? Okay, I don't think we have him. Tehseen Poonawalla, would you like to respond?
Yes, sir. I agree with you and Mr. Sareen that while this is symbolical, this is a very, very important move by the Narendra Modi ji government. But more than symbolism, which Mr. Narendra Modi believes in, why doesn't Mr. Narendra Modi act? Because for the first time in 70 years, and no other government has allowed this, China is in POK and there is construction going on. A road is being constructed on our territory. Point number 2, a BJP MP moved a resolution in Parliament under Narendra Modi ji to declare the entire state of Jammu and Kashmir as an integral part of India. Guess what? And Times Now covered it. That resolution wasn't taken up. Why did the Honorable Prime Minister not allow that? I believe Jammu and Kashmir completely is an integral part of India. But why is the Prime Minister allowing China to have construction there? Isn't that a threat to our sovereignty, to our security? Will we drive China out? Let's answer those questions.
I think you've mixed up your geopolitics a little bit, Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla. I don't think the CPC was made in the last 6 years. The decision to build the CPC and the decision taken by Pakistan to hand over a tract of land to allow China to make that road was taken much before Modi's government came into office. Number one. Number two, the decision by Pakistan to hand over Aksai Chin. 1 second, sir. Allow me. If you allow me, sir, I'm just setting the record straight with some basic facts.
Sure.
Aksai Chin was usurped by China right under the noses of successive Congress governments. And you were dealing behind the backs of the Indian state with Parvez Musharraf to give over POK permanently to Pakistan. Why? You're talking about one road. You were about to give the entire territory. In fact, sir, you may forget what happened at Sharm el Sheikh. You even equated the Pakistani aggression.
So Rahul, can I come in? I think.
Please allow me to. Sir, please allow me to respond. You made 2 points.
Okay, let Mr. Tehseen Poonawalla just respond, and I'll bring in GVR Narasimha Rao right after. Yes, Mr. Poonawalla, I think you mixed up your history, or what have you?
I haven't mixed up my history, sir. To your first point, whatever Pakistan may have been thinking in its head, the fact of the matter is that it could hand over the territory and allow Chinese construction to start not just of a road, but of a port out there, of an electrical plant out there, has happened under the nose of Mr. Narendra Modi.
Don't hair split. I want to bring in Mr. Shukla also on this and GVR Narasimha Rao. GVR Narasimha Rao, quick response to Tehseen Poonawalla. Very quick response. Yes.
No. He didn't say anything worth even countering. I think from Jawaharlal Nehru to Manmohan Singh have adopted certainly policies which are not in India's interest. So let me put that aside. What is important today is that even on April 30, only a few days ago, our PA or Government of India objected to Pakistan Higher Court's decision to allow Pakistan government to hold provincial elections in POK. We registered our protest. And the Congress party in government never did in India's interest. But in opposition also, they are acting against India's interest. Only 2 days ago, Rahul Gandhi praises photographers who described India's Kashmir as India-occupied Kashmir. Kashmir is under Kabja. Either Rahul is out of his mind or he's doing deliberately, he's supporting such activities to against India's interest. And their leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha says, we can't decide on our own Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir decision cannot be taken by India. He said it has to go to UN. I think with a political party like this in India, I don't think you need enemies. I think they are as good as for us as they are acting against India's interest as much as Pakistan. So we have to deal with the Congress party, which actually works against India's interest in government and continues to work against India's interest in opposition.
Okay. Ajay Shukla.
Rahul,
are you there, sir?
Without getting into issues of credit grabbing and who did it and what Nehru did and so on, fact of the matter is that the Narendra Modi government has made it a staple of its Kashmir policy to assert and to reassert and to doubly assert India's claim over Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. And this move by the Indian Meteorological Department is part of that. This is entirely to be welcomed, because why should India, while asserting its claim over the whole of Kashmir, only talk about that part of Kashmir which Pakistan claims and which India actually is in control of? That doesn't make any sense at all. It is a far better policy, as the Narendra Modi government has implemented, to talk about Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, and to that extent it's to be welcomed. But while taking credit for this, let's also remember that it took 4 years of Narendra Modi's government for them to make this move and to do it. It's welcome, but it is not entirely a policy that was there from the start of the Modi government. Now, you will remember that there are many ways of asserting claims over territories. Like Pakistan, for example, started taking mountaineering expeditions to the Siachen Glacier in the early 1980s. That was one way of asserting control over that territory. And India did well to go and occupy Siachen Glacier in order to physically occupy that territory. China, for example, makes sure that it puts pressure on Google Earth and so on to show the areas along the border, along the McMahon line, as Chinese territory or disputed territory. That's another way of asserting control. So I would just sum up by saying that what the Narendra Modi government has done, and that is to assert control unequivocally over Gilgit-Baltistan and POK, is to be welcomed, and the IMD decision to give weather forecasts for those territories is part of this and also to be welcomed.
Okay, very quickly, Mr. Sushant Sareen, I'm glad that Mr. Shukla has backed this to the hilt. Mr. Sareen, how do you see Pakistan responding to this? Very quickly, I have just 1 minute on the show, please.
No, I think they'll respond in the same Pavlovian manner in which they respond to anything which comes from India. I think what they are going to do is that they're going to say that this is a tendacious claim, and all that rhetoric which they normally use, they will use. They could just as well decide that they're not going to pay too much attention to it. But I think the larger point which Ajay has made, I think needs to be taken forward, which is that on virtually everything, whether it is Google Maps, whether it is atlases, whether it is Economist and other papers, wanting to sell in India with a tainted map, we should not put that stamp that the map does not represent India's boundaries. We should simply not allow those magazines to be sold out here. You have to really make a push.
I think those are valid suggestions. Very valid suggestions. We leave it at this, viewers. Very valid suggestions. Let's extend this to cartographic aggression also against Pakistan, using all platforms that are used very regularly by people. Let's take this forward. It's a great beginning. India must support it. We leave it at that.